YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. After day 3 of the NFL draft, I'm here with my best picks from each round, and I got 3 clear-cut big winners on the day when you combined all 4 rounds here. Had the same video for each day of the NFL draft. We have grades for every pick in round 1 already up, and we got more videos recapping the draft, undrafted free agency video, way too early mock draft, all that coming here. So join us, like, subscribe to notifications on. If you're not following our Twitter, you're missing out. Talked about pretty much every pick over the last couple of days here, and rumors, news, predictions, and more on that Twitter as well. So check it out, link down below. Best round 4 draft picks. So there's a lot of good picks throughout the day, way more than we're going to talk about here, and we'll recap the whole draft, grades, rankings, everything in the near future. But yeah, so listed for best draft picks for each round is kind of ones that just really, really caught my eye or were really good. So start with Perion Winfrey, who we thought could be a second-round pick, goes to the Browns in the 4th round. So it's a very solid pick. I felt like the Browns needed some help on the interior there, so they grabbed the Oklahoma defensive tackle, who was very good, a pass rusher from the inside. I think the reason he slipped is because, yeah, he struggles a little bit against the run. Maybe he won't be on the field in early downs. It was a little tricky, too, because Oklahoma had him playing all over the place, had him at nose tackle a lot, so it felt like he was out of position at times. So sometimes tough to judge, but he's a really good pass rusher from the interior. He was dominant at the Senior Bowl. Senior Bowl game was the MVP. So the Browns definitely had one of the best round 4 picks. Seahawks taking Kobe Bryant, who I thought had a shot to go late second. And he was really growing on me the last couple of weeks as well. So Seahawks get a solid corner, which they needed pretty badly, and they didn't all of a sudden, start valuing them really high. They end up getting a really good one in the 4th round for very good value because they haven't really been valuing the cornerbacks recently, and it could pay off with the draft with the 2 corners of the corners they got on day 3 here in 2022. Daniel Falele to the Ravens. Thought he'd be a 3rd-round pick, ends up being in the 4th round. I think it's a really good fit. The downside of Falele, why he dropped, is because he's lacking that athleticism that you need for tackles today. But the Ravens are more of a power over speed and quickness type of offensive line there. So I think it's a very solid fit. He actually has a shot to play early on at right tackle. And they also got Jalen Armour-Davis, which I really like the fit from. So these are just 2 good fits for the Ravens here, and good ball players. So Armour-Davis is, even though he comes from Alabama, it kind of feels like he's kind of a raw upside type guy. Kind of just got going, was playing hurt towards the end of the year. So you can't really judge him off that either. So I think basically he's an upside guy, I think, and I think it's a good situation to go to the Ravens. Very good with their corners, very solid defense, but mainly they have a top-tier duo already starting with Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters is a good guy to learn behind. He's got 1 more year left, so it's a very good situation. He can jump in and start maybe in a year or 2 here. The Chargers take Isaiah Spiller. I wasn't crazy about Spiller heading into this draft like most people were, but a very solid back, and I really like to fit with the Chargers, and it's a very good pick here. It's kind of that perfect running back to complement Austin Eckler, kind of what the Chargers were missing, what they need. So he's not going to be used an insane amount, but he's very solid pick here for the Chargers. And I like Zach Tom to the Packers. I love the versatility. I mean, everyone keeps telling us, he's going to be a guard, he's going to be a center, but he played very well at tackle. We've seen him play center in the past as well. I think he's going to be a solid ball player at any of those positions there. So very curious to see what the Packers do with them, but they get a very solid pick there. There was a lot of good picks in the 4th round, but not too many that are eye-popping to me. Just kind of these ones here, the ones that really stood out. But then a lot in kind of this next round, in round 5, Sam Howell was my 2nd overall quarterback. I thought he was worthy of a 1st-round pick, later in the 1st round. Just because in the past we kind of saw that. We kind of saw this talented quarterback that could be a future top pick. And then this year he took a step down, still played well, and that hurt his draft stock. I think being 6 feet tall kind of hurts his draft stock, I guess, because that's how the NFL is. But he took a step down this year because you don't like to see that. But offensive line was awful. He lost some star players to the NFL. The previous year, one of them, De'Ami Brown, is on the Washington Commanders as well. So I just want to see him with some time. He's a tough kid. He's very tough. It's very hard to bring down, breaks tackles on the run, or when somebody's trying to sack him, he breaks tackles. Showed that all year. He's got that great arm talent down the field as well. So Could he play early on with the Commanders? They just got Carson Wentz. Obviously, they want that to work, so let's hope he plays as much as possible. But having Sam Howell, that's good. That's good for the Commanders there. So I love that pick. I love Khalil Shakir to the Bills. To me, this was a safe draft pick. Very good slot receiver, smart route runner, understood coverages, knew how to get open, and then he was very tough after the catch as well. Very productive, very athletic. I mean, the Bills' offense just keeps getting better. He's going to be depth right away, but it's that slot receiver. I think he's going to find a way to get in there and be productive in this offense. Seahawks with another great pick and another corner, Tariq Woolen, which I started moving up earlier in the process. Had him in round 3. I started moving up to round 2 just because not only the upside, you love the upside, but I want to see those traits, which creates that upside. I want to see it on the field. Does he use it? And I started noticing, last month, he's starting to use it towards the back end of that tape there, getting better, starting to get a little more instinctive, and he's fairly new to the position, and he's got the rare traits, with the length, the athleticism. So I see some extreme upside here with Tariq Woolen, but it's not like he's completely raw right now. He should be, but and he still is, but he's a little further on. And this kind of gives you that, Legion of Boom Seahawks cornerback vibe. They're looking for the lengthy guys, the freak athletes at the same time. Another corner that's a freak athlete, Zion McCollum, thought he would go 3rd round, maybe even sneak into the 2nd. I really like the fit with the Buccaneers too. Just felt right there. And they needed a corner, a very good depth corner here because of the injuries, and they get that with Zion McCollum. Kyren Williams, this isn't an extreme value. I thought he was a 4th round running back, so it's not crazy value. I just really like Kyren Williams. I really like him with the Rams. I think he's going to be real good there next to Cam Akers. He kind of just does it all. He's kind of a home run hitting back. He's quick. Really shifty, hard to kind of get a hold of. He can block, one of the better believe it or not, because he's kind of small, one of the best blocking running backs in the class. He was a receiver in high school, so you can line him up in the slot. He catches the ball very well. It's just a perfect back behind Cam Akers. Kyren Williams is gonna be really good now. With the Rams there. So I just love that pick there. The Bears took Braxton Jones. Bears did a lot of trading back. Everyone's kind of waiting for them to get that offensive lineman. They're very clear what they've done this offseason, this draft, and they're kind of in that rebuild mode there. And Braxton Jones is not only a very good value pick here, because I thought he would go into 3rd, but he's very much part of that rebuild because this is an ultimate upside prospect here on day 3 that could have been a day 2 player, because it's very important at offensive tackles, for you to project them to be very good. They have that elite offensive tackle length and really the traits in general, and Braxton Jones from Southern Utah has that. He has elite length, actually. And he had a really good year just for Southern Utah, just played weaker competition. So to me, he's got the upside here. He could struggle early on because he's a raw prospect here, but he has the traits you look for. He's got the upside. So I really like that pick. Ty Chandler was one of my guys. He was my running back 7, actually. I was very high on him, just very fun to watch. Has that vision, has the cutting ability, and has that home run speed. And the Vikings get him, which they're pretty loaded at running back right now. I would assume Alexander Madison probably leaves after his contract's up this year, but he's running back too. Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison leading the way in that running back group, but you have Chandler and Wagmu from Iowa State last year, so deep running back room there, but I like Chandler a lot. He was my running back 7, and all 6 went before today. Raiders took Matthew Butler. I like Matthew Butler from Tennessee. Kind of that 3 technique. Do they play him at 3-4 end? He's very good for an interior guy. Rushing the passer, could improve stopping a run. Damone Clark would have been ranked my linebacker 4 if he was healthy. I liked his tape that much. Kind of a do-it-all guy, high motor all over the field. Equally effective versus pass versus run. He just had that injury in his back that after the combine that he had to have surgery on. So he's probably going to miss this year. But it's a really good linebacker. So when he gets healthy, he can take. They re-sign Leighton Vander Esch to a 1-year deal. He can leave, and Damone Clark can be ready. Then Kingsley Enagbare from South Carolina. Surprised he went to a 3-4 team because he's kind of that bigger body, physical, felt like a 4-3 end, but the Packers kind of can make it work with those types of guys. They kind of have those guys already that are kind of either or scheme. And they need another pass rusher. They get a good one here. I thought he was going to go a lot earlier. Got a lot better this last year. Very good stop and run. Very physical. Very lengthy, which you like to see there. So a lot of good picks. Darian Kinnard's another one too. Probably should have been in the graphic. Just so many guys. It kind of just defeats the purpose of listing every single pick here. But Kinnard for the Chiefs. Good right tackle that also can play guard. That was another good pick. A lot of good picks here. Round 6, my punter one, who actually thought was going to go in the 5th round, put on a show this year and at the combine. Matt Ariza to the Buffalo Bills here, and they needed some more punter. They needed punter help for the future here, and they got that. So I really like that pick. Amare Barno from Virginia Tech, the pass rusher that's very, very long and athletic. We saw at the combine, runs in the 4.3s. It's a guy you really want to work with. Panthers doing a good job developing these young defensive players they've been drafting, so that's a good situation for him to go to. He has to put on weight. Definitely has to put on weight, but I thought he had a shot to go in round 4 just because the upside and the freaky athleticism. Jean-Marie Sallier from Georgia, one of the steals of the day here for the Chargers. I thought he can go 2nd or 3rd. He played at tackle at a high level. He slid over to guard, played at a high level. Had a very good year for the Georgia Bulldogs. Who played top competition, obviously won the national championship game. That's a very good pick for the Chargers. So it's kind of depth at tackle and guard. I think he could start because he's good. He could start. I mean, if he can find a spot to start, it's possible there. Keontae Ingram was my sleeper running back. I watched him, and I kind of keep saying I kind of saw a little bit of Melvin Gordon in there with him, and just very underrated. He was at Texas previously. And he was going to be really good there, but Robinson's there, who might be a future first-round pick. So if it wasn't for Robinson, Ingram would have been very, very productive because Texas liked to run the ball. He'd been extremely productive, more productive than he was at USC. At Texas, if that was the case. Goes to USC. He has very good tape. He played very well. Underrated catching the ball. Underrated in general. USC underrated him. He should have got more carries there. And the Cardinals need another running back in there, so I like that pick. Darian Kendrick, who, it's not that surprising because you run in the 4.7s as a corner, you're probably going to drop. But Darian Kendrick has had a very good college career, obviously playing at a high level at Clemson, playing at a high level at Georgia, winning the national championship, experiencing man coverage. Just very solid all around. The Rams with Jalen Ramsey there, very good situation for him to go to. Another corner, Tariq Castro-Fields, I liked a lot. Very solid, good press. Good coming up attacking the ball. I like the length, the speed. So I like that for the 49ers. And they look like they hit on Ambry Thomas, who was a sleeper last year. So could they hit on a corner again? Round 7, Isaiah Thomas for the Browns. I thought he's athletic, long, productive from Oklahoma. I thought, maybe he can go round 5. 6 wouldn't surprise me. They get him in the 7th, and there's some competition going on there for the Browns at the defensive end position. Another Seahawk pick, Bo Melton, thought he can go 4th or 5th. Highly recruited, decided to go to Rutgers instead of Ohio State, Michigan, a lot of these big-time Big Ten schools. He's very fast, very twitchy, good route runner in the Seahawks, so the Seahawks grab a good one here. And then the Panthers, Kalen Barnes, who's speedy, obviously the fastest player in the draft. Has some upside at slot corner, but I think he played solid enough on the outside. Just kind of relies on his speed a bit sometimes, but, comes from that very solid defense in Baylor. And Phil Snow, with the Panthers now, came from there, actually. Just thought of that. And then the Dolphins, Skylar Thompson. I like Thompson. I actually had him ranked ahead of Carson Strong. That was kind of out there. Thompson ends up getting drafted. Carson Strong does not. I like Thompson. I liked him when I first saw him, even up on the field as a freshman way back, so it's been a bit. He's had some injuries, which kept him off the field, but he's kind of got that big playability in him. He's got that on the run, throw on the run. He's a pretty good runner, too. You see him lower the shoulder, run people over. You better be careful with that because he's had some injuries, but he's safe with the ball. He's pretty accurate. I like Thompson. I like him in there, in case, I know they got Teddy, but in case Tua's not working out, Teddy has the injury concern, could we see Skylar Thompson early in his career? Maybe. You just got to stay healthy. Packers take Rasheed Walker, Penn State tackle. I thought he can go 4th or 5th round. Packers needed offensive linemen and really offensive lineman depth too, and they weren't really doing it early on this draft, but they did a hell of a job after that. So we kind of started to be like, all right, they got rid of those 2 second-round picks. It's kind of like we could use one on a receiver, one on an offensive lineman. When are we going to take these offensive linemen? And then they started taking them here, and they end up getting some pretty good ones. And the Cardinals take Marquise Hayes, solid guard, physical guard from Oklahoma there, which I thought, could he go in the 4th round as well? So that was a good pick for the Cardinals. We had 2 really good picks from the Cardinals on day 3. I was getting a little confused in what they were doing early on, using their 1st-round pick for Hollywood Brown and taking a tight end. And then 2 good picks today at least. And I thought there was just 3 clear-cut winners here for the day, 3 big winners. 2 and 3 had hauls, absolute big, long hauls. But the Seahawks just so efficient, I guess we could say, with this draft. Getting Kobe Bryant, who can come in and start for them, guy that's been growing on me, very good in man coverage, press, good experience. Seems smart, too, but I like his upside in zone. But it's good that he has that press ability. And they get Tariq Woolen, who, I think thrives in, he's got, the physicality and the length to press. But I think, cover 2 and cover 3. So I'm kind of putting it together. I think the Seahawks, Bryant, Woolen kind of meshing together, being able to press. I think we'll see some cover 2, some cover 3. And then you have to mix in cover 1 there because you have Bryant and because you want to throw off offenses with your press ability, and you won't be able to tell because if they're pressing most of the time, you won't be able to tell what really they're in. And then they had Tyreek Smith, who's pretty solid pass rush from Ohio State. Just kind of Jonathan Cooper last year was better than the production said. He's just kind of lacking length, and he ends up being a pretty solid pick for the Broncos. Tyreek Smith has more of the traits, but you kind of feel like he's better, has better production in him. So maybe they get him out of that, get that out of him there. And they get Bo Melton, which was a great pick too. just 3 A++ picks: Bryant, Woolen, and Melton. I'd say Woolen's the best one. But I'm telling you, Bryant's really growing on me. Even since I made the rankings last week, right, for corners, even since then, he's kind of growing on me. So got a good feeling about Kobe Bryant there. And they add Young there with their last pick. So I think just an efficient, all-around good draft from the Seattle Seahawks. No flaws at all. It's a really good job there. The Ravens, number 2. They got Falele, shot to play early on at right tackle. Good fit. Jalen Armour Davis, I think it's perfect situation. It's a good value pick. Kolar, who is contested catch, red zone, 2-point conversion. Ravens could have used that last year. That's one of those types of tight ends. They have their punter and Stout. Likely kind of feels like a Ravens guy. In the Coastal Carolina line him in the backfield, sometimes deployed him from there, and you go out and block. They get real physical, but then he kind of lines up like a receiver, runs like a receiver, makes a big play. Williams, I thought was a little early. And then Beatty from Missouri, who's kind of that slip screen type running back. He's very good with those, so that could mix in well with the Ravens there. And the Packers also got a haul. Romeo Doubs from Nevada. I like that. That's it's not like crazy value, but I like that. I like the fit. I think he could be pretty productive early on, surprisingly there. Then Zach Thomas, a fantastic pick, versatile offensive lineman. Enagbare was a fantastic pick as well. A lot of upside with him. They get Carpenter, who can play linebacker or safety. They get Ford for the D-line. They get Rasheed Walker, which was a very good value pick, and they get Torrey there at the end. So the Ravens and Packers had pretty similar days there. They're pretty damn similar there on what they got. Did they get the same amount of picks? Looks like they did, yeah. But the Seahawks were just very efficient with their picks. I think the Ravens kind of get probably the fit award. Like all of those guys just really feel like Ravens. They're like good value picks, and they feel like real good fits at the same time. But I thought the Seahawks just killed it though. Like several A++ picks there. And potential starters with the 2 cornerbacks. Bryant's going to start. I really think Bryant's going to start. Woolen's got a bright future. He has a shot to play pretty early on there. So those are my day 3 winners. A lot of good picks over day 3. Again, we have the same video up for day 1, day 2, day 1 grades for every pick. We got more videos on the way. It's undrafted free agency frenzy at the moment. We'll do a way too early 2023 mock at some point as well. We always do. So really excited about all this content, recapping the draft, grading it, ranking all the drafts. So excited to what's coming forward in the future here. So join us for that. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.